morning. It is 6 a.m. I'm Deirdre Fitzpatrick.
And I'm Teo Torres. So we had some sunshine. Some people saw a little rain yesterday. It was kind of an interesting day, but we're kind of going to coast into the weekend, right, Tam?
Yeah, we are. We're looking at a really nice stretch of weather ahead. So for folks that work outdoors, if you have outdoor interest heading into this holiday weekend, you're really in great shape. Right now, it is cool enough to grab a jacket, grab the shades. We're just about 39 minutes away from sunrise. You're facing upper 40s out the door in the valley right now. 49 in Modesto. It's 51 currently in Fairfield. 49 top of the 6 o'clock hour in Yuba City. 46 if you've moved on to maybe a second cup of coffee in Auburn. Right now, 21 degrees as you're getting outside in the Truckee area. Outdoor planner today, great day to be outdoors, but it will come with a bit of a breeze first thing in the morning. On into the afternoon, beyond noontime especially, that breeze will ease up. We're looking at destination highs in the upper 60s to about 70 degrees. Right now, the breeze is pretty focused on the valley. You'll notice those wind speeds anywhere from about 10 to 15, and that's really the extent of it. I haven't seen anything overly gusty so far for the morning. Today in the valley, plan for those wind speeds about 5 to 15. Again, stronger in the morning, easing up in the afternoon in the foothills. You're barely going to feel that breeze at 5 to 10, and for the Sierra, you can expect wind speeds about 5 to 15 coming out of the east to northeast. Coming up in my full forecast, we'll show you what's ahead as you plan out the rest of the work and school week. 6:01 is the time. Brian, what should you plan for on those roadways?
Well, so far we're off to a great start. So timing-wise, it looks like you're going to be right on schedule there if you're getting out the door on time. This is a look out onto the causeway there, westbound side. You can see the headlights heading out towards Davis right now in Dixon area. No delays on that stretch going eastbound. Beautiful sunrise shaping up there on the causeway for you. So definitely have those sunglasses ready to go. Highway 50 looking good out of Folsom, Roseville on the 80 corridor all the way into downtown through the Split. No delays on that stretch. We did have one crash reported I-5 southbound at Del Paso Road. That's off the roadway there. So far haven't seen any delays there in that northbound ride. If you're catching a flight out of the airport, no problems there. 5 and 99 from Elk Grove. You can see here everything's in the green, which indicates we are traveling at the speed limit. And the same story in Stockton after clearing up a crash right around March Lane. So travel time's looking pretty good across the area through the Tracy Triangle. A 29-minute ride, 21-minute ride right now out of Modesto. And here in Sacramento, you can see everything is traveling at the limit. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Brian. Well, 5 years ago this morning, the unthinkable was happening. Take a look at this. The deadliest, most destructive wildfire in California history was exploding as people were getting ready to go to work and school.
Instead, they found themselves fleeing for their lives as the flames raced through the town of Paradise. This morning, we do have team coverage on that anniversary. Mike DeSalle caught up with the prosecutor who went after PG&E for equipment that sparked the fire.
But let's start with Melanie Wingo, who is live in Paradise, where today they're really looking forward, not back, right?
Absolutely. That's the sense we're getting from all of the information that the community, the Chamber of Commerce is putting out. They've hosted a series of events leading up to today, and there are more events planned for today. This morning, we're in front of the Masonic Lodge, where there will be a pancake breakfast in just about a half hour, marking 5 years since the Camp Fire. No one could forget those images that came from the town of Paradise, from this community 5 years ago, as the town burned to the ground. 85 lives were lost in the Camp Fire. The Camp Fire is to date the most deadly, disastrous fire in state history. So events began over the weekend to honor the lives lost and the community as it was known, and as well to honor how the town has been so resilient. This morning, again, there will be a pancake breakfast starting at 6:30 where we are at the Masonic Lodge. Then there is going to be a time capsule event happening at the community park starting at 10:30 this morning. And at precisely 11:08 a.m., the town will observe 85 seconds of silence in remembrance of the 85 members of the community whose lives were lost. Following that remembrance, the town will seal a community time capsule, which is to be opened in 2043, 25 years after the Camp Fire. At 6:30 tonight, there is set to be a dinner and candlelight event back here at the Masonic Lodge. And really today, the events are marking, obviously, 5 years since the Camp Fire, but also commemorating the resiliency, marking the lives lost, marking this anniversary and remembering those lives lost. So definitely a lot of community rallying around this very somber anniversary. Reporting from Paradise this morning, Melanie Wingo, KCRA 3 News.
Certainly is. All right, Melanie, thank you.
Well, it was a 100-year-old piece of worn-out equipment that actually sparked the campfire, a fact that so bothered the Butte County prosecutor, he made the decision to take on PG&E in court and accuse the company of criminal behavior.
Mike Tassell had a chance to talk one-on-one with the DA about whether he believes getting the utility to plead guilty has truly made a difference. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. And yeah, this is a man who used words like corporate killer and putting profits over safety to describe PG&E and the culture of PG&E at the time of the campfire. So I did want to know, has his mind changed about what he thinks the culture of PG&E is today? We're talking, of course, about Butte County Prosecutor District Attorney Michael Ramsey. His decision to take on PG&E ultimately led to the corporate utility pleading guilty to manslaughter in the campfire deaths. So the big question I wanted to ask him is this: 5 years later, do you really believe that the admission of guilt has made a difference in the culture of PG&E to make safety a priority? Listen to his answer.
The fact that they had been taken over by hedge fund folks that put profit over safety had to have a complete turnaround. And looking at some of the CPUC documents and so forth, it does appear that PG&E has had about a 90% reduction over these 5 years in terms of wildfire caused fires.
So yeah, beyond the public safety power shutoffs that became common, burying underground lines, and of course trying to deal with those hazardous trees near towers and power lines, another significant change that Ramsey has noted about PG&E is that the voices of safety, those employees that were trying to prioritize safety, have been promoted within the company to positions where they can now make a difference. It was those voices that were marginalized during the period of the campfire when Ramsey says it was clear PG&E was prioritizing profits over safety. In Sacramento, Mike Tassell, KCRA 3 News.
All right, Mike, we will have much more on the events in Paradise throughout today. You can also find more coverage on the fire on our website and our KCRA 3 app.
Happening today, residents in El Dorado County can voice concerns about a potential release of a sexually violent predator into their community. David Berge was convicted in 1993 of sex crimes with 2 minors. He received an 8-year and 8-month sentence. In 2001, Berge was admitted to the Department of State hospitals for treatment, but was recently ordered to be released after 3 doctors found him suitable for community treatment.
Well, today's meeting is at 9 o'clock in Cameron Park at the Superior Court. It's in Department 9 and it is open to the public. Well, 4 years ago this week, an Elk Grove man was hit and killed by a car while taking out his trash. And now, police and his family are hoping someone can help them find the driver. Edward Villasenor was killed outside of his Waterman Road home in 2019. Police believe the vehicle that hit him was an older model red SUV, maybe a GMC or a Chevy. In the days and weeks following the crash, investigators combed for evidence, talking to neighbors, but they are still missing the piece of evidence they need to lead to a suspect.
We know he has a family, right? And ultimately, they want closure. And so that's with us, and we know that. And we know that he was a father. We know he was a grandfather.
Well, Edward's daughter, Debbie Colquitt, told us that the family got flowers for her father this week and are all praying they find closure. In Modesto, police are searching for the suspect in the deadly hit and run. Happened around 5:30 last night in the area of McHenry and Union Avenues. Police say a driver in a light-colored Kia Soul hit a man that was riding his bike and then left the scene. Officers believe there is damage to the vehicle's front windshield and passenger side. If you know anything, please call Modesto Police.
Well, now we go to the coverage of Israel at war. The Israeli army says its forces are now battling Hamas fighters inside Gaza's largest city. More than 70% of Gaza's population of 2.3 million people have left their homes behind. Crowds of people were seen fleeing northern Gaza down an evacuation corridor today. Axios is reporting that the U.S. has proposed a 3-day pause in fighting in exchange for some of those hostages. Now, previously, the Israeli prime minister had said no ceasefire or pause would be agreed to until all of those hostages were released. This morning, top world leaders are calling for a humanitarian pause. Diplomats from the G7 have announced a united stance on the war this morning after Tokyo meetings. Their statement is condemning Hamas and supporting Israel's right for self-defense. And it also says the humanitarian pause is needed to get aid to civilians in Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says that the G7 is working to prevent the conflict from escalating more and spreading widely.
All of us want to end this conflict as soon as possible, and meanwhile, to minimize civilian suffering. But as I discussed with my G7 colleagues, those calling for an immediate ceasefire have an obligation to explain how to address the unacceptable result it would likely bring about. Hamas left in place with more than 200 hostages, with the capacity and stated intent to repeat October 7th again and again and again.
After leaving Japan, Blinken will be heading to South Korea and then India.
Happening today, the daughter of former President Trump is scheduled to testify in his civil fraud trial in New York. This comes 2 days after he gave testimony. Ivanka Trump is expected to be the prosecution's final witness. She is not charged in the case, but she was an executive vice president of the Trump Organization in the past. The judge already ruled the former president and his adult sons are liable for fraud. Ivanka's attorneys argued that she shouldn't have to testify, but an appeals court has ruled yes, she must.
Breaking news out of Las Vegas this morning. The Hotel Workers Union has reached a tentative agreement with Caesars Entertainment.
Yeah, this prevents a strike along the 9 properties owned by Caesars and will cover about 10,000 hospitality workers. But the union still has to reach a deal with MGM and Wynn Resorts, and that involves 25,000 workers. The union had put a strike deadline for Friday morning at 5 a.m. If a strike does happen, it could happen as Vegas gets ready to welcome Formula One racing. It has literally changed the face of the Strip. This is expected to bring in thousands of tourists into the hotels in the Strip. If there are any updates, we'll bring it to you, but it literally could paralyze the ongoings in the hotels.